and welcome to the channel. Thanks for tuning in. Now continuing on with the RX Scarab build series. It has been a little while since the last installment where we finally got out into the harbour and started tuning the engine. We had an excellent day, and by the end of the session we had a fuel map that was pretty close. But there are things I'm just not happy with. If you have been following, you might remember I had installed a lower temperature thermostat, 68 degrees Celsius opening. Turns out the heat exchanger I made is more than adequate, and basically the engine temperature never went over 68 degrees. So I've changed that to a factory 82 degrees thermostat. Next is the propeller. Currently it is fitted with a Mercury Vengeance 15 pitch propeller. On the last test day, the first pull seemed promising, only taking about 25 seconds to accelerate onto the plane. The fuel tank was only a bit over half and 3 passengers. And because it was the middle of winter, the air intake temperatures were a consistent 20 degrees Celsius because of the cold sea temperature and intercooler cooled by the seawater. However, later on, when the cameras weren't rolling, Nick hopped on board and the engine really struggled to push over the bow wave and get onto the plane. In fact, it was only by shifting my weight to the bow that made it possible. This is going to be something that needs addressing. So to improve the whole shot, I will start by extending the trim tabs on the boat. Hopefully longer trim tabs will help push the front down and over the bow wave. The original trim tabs were 12 inches wide by 9 inches long, with 3/4 folded down stiffeners made from 2mm sheet. The ones I'm making are still 12 inches wide, but now extend out to about 14 inches out of 3mm stainless steel sheet. I'm also putting the stiffness up and tapering the length by about 3 inches. And I've made a heavy duty hinge from 3/8 tube and 1/4 inch rod. Finished to a mirror. The next thing to take care of while we wait for the weather to sort itself out is the sound system, which was purchased early on in the project when everything seemed to be coming together nice and quickly. And as the interior started coming together, I couldn't see any easy solutions for installation. So the bow can handle more weight, and the very front is already boxed in with a bulkhead, so I'm going to mount the 10-inch sub in the forward bulkhead. The port side center bulkhead was looking a little unfinished with the glove storage compartment missing, so I'm going to fill in the area with a speaker box that will have 4 5-inch two-way speakers fitted. It's not going to be ideal, but it will get the speakers into an enclosure and hopefully complement the dash on the starboard side. I've weighed it up and decided to make the box out of aluminium. I figured I could get the finish and low weight I wanted quicker than fabricating it in fiberglass or wood. Each speaker has its own separate enclosure, even though from the outside it looks like a common enclosure. I've kept the fold radiuses about the same as the dash console and the flanges roughly the same. After all the welds are ground down, I spray epoxy primer and then finish in the same 2K black that I painted the dash in. I think it came out pretty good, but the speakers look like mag wheels and sort of look a little cheap, but that's what I got. I've mounted the amp on the forward port side of the same bulkhead. Side note, should have run all the cables before the cockpit panels were fitted. It took hours running a mouse and pulling the cables through. And before the next test run, we're just going to warm the engine up with the new thermostat and get ready to go. First test run, we've taken the old man for a run, and we have the new thermostat and new trim tabs. Next good day, we take my mother out for the same run. And, things go reasonably well, even though it's a lot rougher. Next run we take Nick out. The weather's a lot better this time.